Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Wednesday FICA tip tax credit opportunity call, I guess is what we're calling it, right? Um, Glad to have everybody. We've got, man, 10 more just came in.
Yeah, I've just
Um,
admitted a couple.
well,
Good afternoon,
I don't know why
everybody.
it's saying that I have to admit because I had it set where they can just come in, but I think that's just the Zoom is taking some time adding
I'll
them.
try. I'll try and keep an eye on it, and Stan
Yeah.
can too.
So anyway, we're glad to have everybody. Hopefully, we've got some new people on today. If you're new, you can go down to the bottom of your screen where the heart is and click on that where it says react. And there's a place to raise your hand. If you don't mind just raising your hand there. If you're new, we just like to know who's new and actually too, when the new people, we want to let them uh, kind of have the first dibs on any questions and everything. So glad to have you. Boy, we've got quite a few here. That's nice.
And some
Awesome.
people raised their hand, in
Yeah, I
the
did see a couple that raised
yeah.
their hand in the,
Thank you for that.
yeah. Yeah. So yeah, you can go ahead and lower your hands now if you'd like to. And then once we get to the Q&A part, I'll have you raise your hand again if you want to ask a question. So let me tell you a little bit about legacy tax and Stefan Brewer. Stefan has been in business a long time, 20 plus, maybe 30 plus years. I guess I need to ask him sometime exactly how long have you been in business, but oh, Jeremy
So,
knows.
I stalked his LinkedIn profile. He started in 85, 1985, last century.
Even before, yeah, last century. Even before Stan thought in 1993 then.
I
That's
believe he
impressive.
became president in 1993 of the company.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
impressive. Well, the point is, this is not something new and not something we just jumped into. So Stefan is the owner of Legacy Tax and the founder. He has 22 locations across the country and is the fourth largest tax reconciliation uh, CPA in the country. So this is not when you get into things like this, and some of you that did ERC know this, and I'm assuming some of the new people might have done ERC, but there were people from everywhere jumping into that had no knowledge. They were not CPAs. They just, you know, contracted some and they sent people out there, into the wild and had those people contacting businesses, and it was kind of a free for all and kind of a screw everybody type of deal at the same time. There was a lot of people that got screwed, clients and reps both. But so Stefan has been doing this and specializing in the tax credits that are available for businesses. Today's CPAs, they make sure that you are they show your revenue, they show your expenses, they make sure that you are paying the tax that they determine that you owe, and that's really their goal. That's what they're taught to do. They don't spend a lot of time looking and trying to figure out how can I save you some money or how can I put some money back in your pocket. That's no indictment on them. They just don't have the time. There's 1,300 credits. There's no way they're going to know all of those. And this particular credit has been around since 1993. It's a FICA tip tax credit. And the reason it's been around is they originally came up with this program to encourage employees to claim their tips so that they could, gather the FICA taxes from the employee on it. And so it's been around since 1993. 90%, 80 to 90% of restaurants know nothing about it. Most CPAs know nothing about it. And just so you know, you will get some restaurants that'll say, "Well, I should talk to my CPA about it." Well, that's fine if you want to talk to them, but that is the CPA that could have been doing this the last 30 years. You know, if you know you've been in business that long, that's the number of years you've missed out on this credit so far. And we've been filing this since 2003 for restaurants. We're not beginners. We've been doing it. Stefan understands all the ins and outs of it, and so that's kind of, who we are and where we are. We're here for the long run. We're going to do this service for them, and then there are all kinds of other credits that we will bring to the table for these clients that sign up for this credit to put additional funds in their pocket. So it doesn't just end with this. And the great part of that is if they get them to do another credit, WOTC or you know R&D, any of those type of credits, you'll get paid for those, even if you never talk to your client about it. Once you bring the client in, that's your client, you'll get paid. Um, Before I show them our program with the how the calculator works and all that stuff, Jeremy, why don't you tell them what Black Swan is? Because I'm sure
Okay, okay.
everybody's
Yeah.
seen Black Swan and the the
Legacy
legacy
tax. So
tax, and they probably are thinking,
yeah.
well, what's the deal with the two of them? So
Yeah, so legacy tax is the tax resolution company, and they were actually processing these claims for some other companies that had associates, and they didn't like the way that these other companies were taking a large chunk of the commission and sometimes not even paying them. So Stefan and Stan put together their own affiliate program, which is called Black Swan. So Black Swan is the affiliate side for legacy tax. And we're direct with legacy, so there's no middleman. That's why the commissions are much better. So, a lot of us with ERC, we did very as a middleman, and they still took, the
mhm.
lion, sometimes the lion's share, at least 50%. So that's what Black Swan is. I think I covered everything.
Yeah, yeah. I just wanted them to kind of
Yeah.
know what the reason for the two different names was. Um, So I'm going to share my screen and we will start out here with
One second. I did miss
let's
a part. I did miss a part.
oh
Black
well
Swan is okay. It's of consultants, by consultants, for consultants. And
all
we're
right.
open. Stan is open to ideas and things like that. Thank you.
Okay. Great. Yeah, I forgot that same thing that you forgot. So
Stan wouldn't forgive me if I missed that bit out.
no, that's the most important part. Okay, so hopefully you guys can see my screen. Um Jeremy, okay, I was going to say there's a so this is the landing page that you will have if you've signed up already and you've been approved. You will get an email that will take you to your back office, and then we also provide you with a couple of short videos. One's 2 minutes, one's seven, that teach you how to navigate your back office so that you can find your links like this one. This is the link that you're going to send to your restaurant clients for them to get started with the process of signing up uh, for the credit. So first thing I want to do is go ahead and play. There's this little video here, if you can see that with my cursor. So that's with every when you get them on the landing page, that video is a couple of minutes long, and I would play it. So I'm going to go ahead and let it fly here for you guys.
Quick question. Are you still paying payroll taxes on your employees' tips, even though your customers paid those tips directly to your staff?
I'm crushing it on tips. Why does that feel like a penalty?
Because high tips can mean higher employer FICA, Social Security and Medicare, on those tips. Here's the silver lining. The FICA tip tax credit also called IRS Section 45B. If you're eligible, you can claim a credit for the employer share of FICA paid on certain employee tips.
And here's the part that hurts a little. Many businesses never claim this credit. Some industry estimates say 80 to 90% miss it. And the median refund reported in some studies is around $101,000. Your results depend on your numbers.
If you're in the restaurant and hospitality industry, this credit has been around for a while. And with recent law changes, many beauty and personal care businesses may qualify too.
Simple version.
You take eligible reported tips, apply the employer FICA portion, and that calculation can become a tax credit.
Time matters. Refund claims are generally limited, often 3 years from filing or 2 years from payment, whichever is later.
Legacy Tax and Resolution Services handles the heavy lifting, reviewing tip data, calculating the credit, and preparing the right filings. Want a quick estimate? Use the calculator below. Then complete the survey to the right and book a call.
Pretty good little explanation there of how this program works. So you all can see here where it says get started. They can click on that. It's going to take them down through this. There's going to be a few questions here. When you have a client, when you give them this link, the recommendation is that you either in person, like with your take a laptop or a tablet in with you. You can do it on the phone. It's a little harder for me anyway. The screen's small. It's hard to see. So for you young folks that can see, go ahead and do it on your phone if that's how you want to do it. But anyway, it's best if you fill this out with them. And if you're not with them in person, then if you do it over the phone with them. And I would pull it, I'd have them pull up the screen, you pull up the screen, and you go through every question. And the reason we say that is when you get to the point at the end, it's going to say schedule a consultation with Stefan. And you want to make sure that you're also included in that with your email address so that you can be on the call. And Stefan, when you're on that call, is going to ask the client, is it okay if your sales, your consultant is also on the portal? And what the portal is, it's going to tell them, here's the documents we need from you. And as they submit them, it's going to show, here's what's been submitted, here's what hasn't been submitted. So you can follow up on it. And the reason that's important, that is the biggest holdup on this tax credit being issued and money being in your client's pocket and in your pocket. So if you're not following up and keeping on top of that, it could linger on for months and nothing's happening and nobody's getting paid, including you. So I recommend, I always ask the client if they have a key person that they would like to have that I could also interact with. So if there was some information we needed, the owner, a lot of times they have the, best intentions, but they're busy and they got things going on and they can't always just get away and do whatever it is that's needed. But usually they have somebody in their organization that can do it. So I ask for that. I get the person and I include them in the portal as well. And then I follow up with them. And you'll have a lot better results. So bringing up the fact that could be the longest part of this, here's how the process works. You call the client, go in and meet the client, you get them to fill this out. Stefan, they book a call with Stefan, which could be the next day. It could actually, if you did it in the morning, it could be the same day, just depending on if the availability is there. But in a day or two, you're going to be able to have a call with Stefan. Once they do that, he's going to get them to agree to the portal and get them to accept. Stan, what is it? I'm trying to remember that they're gonna that he wants them to kind of acknowledge on the call.
Except the invitation to the portal is the big thing.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. That's what I was looking for, the invitation to the portal. Yeah. So they're going to get an invitation. They need to go ahead and accept that and follow through with that so that we can get started with the process of gathering the data. So once that's all done, if they get all the information in 3 to 5 days, this deal is filed. And then it's 6 to 12 weeks to get the money from the IRS. The beautiful part of this, for me at least, one of the best parts of it is the fact that this is done electronically, and it allows us to do what they call a bifurcated return. And so when it's filed, Stefan gives the amount that's going to go to the client goes directly to the client. Doesn't go anywhere else. They get the money and it goes right in their pocket. Then the other part, which is the fee from legacy tax, they get their money directly from the IRS as well. So we don't have to wait on people to send checks. We don't have to, wonder did they get paid yet or not. We get paid when they get paid, so we know. And then the other thing is you don't have to chase anybody that decides, well, I'm going to pay, but it's going to be a few months, or I'm thinking about buying a boat, and I'm not going to give you my my part of it or whatever. So that's what we don't want to have to be involved with, and some of you have been involved with ERC. We had those things happen. We had people that just decided not to pay. We had people that decided to pay someday, and some of them did. But I mean, you're sitting there waiting for months. Jeremy.
Noel has something to add, and I know that it's going to be valuable if it's coming from Noel.
Is it something that we need to stop and do now? Noelle, or I mean, is she saying something in the chat or what? I don't see her with her hand up or anything. Noelle, can you raise your hand so I can? Okay.
Hi, Kurt. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
I did want to add this one part, Kurt, when you were talking about getting the questions answered.
Yep.
When we are, and yes, very much so over the phone or in person, walk through the steps with them, the calculator and how to go to the calculator first, which has proven to be so instrumental because they
Yep.
see the number and they can't unsee that number. And by the way, that number is times 4 if we're capturing all 4 years. Again, we have some
Right.
cutoffs. They talked about that in the video. But that calculator is a massive tool. If you go to that first, you have their
Yep.
attention, and then the questions don't seem, because we've had some, oh, why do I have to answer this? Why do I have to answer that? It's very simple. You now have seen this number. This is your money. We need to get these questions completed so the inside team can pick it up. You'll send over the supporting documentation that's being requested by the inside team, and they can begin the process of getting this money into your pocket where it belongs.
Thank you, Noelle.
You're welcome.
That's actually where I was headed next, was the calculator, but it is great, and I should have mentioned that's one of the things you want to do first is you walk in, you ask them, hey, there's a credit that you probably qualify for. Can I show you what it is? And most of them are going to say, well, yeah, let's take a look. And so you go down here, you take the number of employees they have. And this was one that we were working on for one that we got. They have a call tomorrow with Stefan, but they have 33 employees. They're hourly. It's 213 in most states. Some states it's going to be more than that, but there's a national minimum that has to be paid. That's $5.15. So if they pay 213, some of the money that would be going back to them has to be allocated to get their wages up to $5.15. So if I change this to 515, you'll see the number change. You see it went from 103 to 114. That's the difference. So if they're being paid that much, it's going to be a little more money in their pocket. In a lot of cases, it's going to be the 213. It's no problem. We can deal with it, and there's still plenty of money there. So here's the other information they need. How many employees and what are the average tips per employee per week? This particular one, $1,250. So 103,000, that's, as Noel said, that's times four. So that's 412, 414.8, I think, something like that. If with that number. So it's a lot of money. And the greatest, thing with this is once you show them this number, they're motivated to, things are, some places things have been tough. Now, some restaurants are doing very well, but some have had some struggles. I know Noelle in particular has one that she's working with. They were trying to decide, do we take out a loan or do we close one of our locations? Because, you know, cash flow and everything else is just too tight. Cost of food has gone up. They've raised their prices a few times, and I'm sure everybody's seen that. I mean, if you go to McDonald's or Taco Bell or somewhere, you see the difference in what sometimes not as much now, but for a while there, every month the price went up on your chalupa or whatever it is you're getting. So those pressures are still there for a lot of these restaurants as far as the cost of the goods and their food costs and all that. They're higher than they were, and they're having to try to figure out, can we continue raising the price, or are we going to have to just take shorter margins? And a lot of them are taking shorter margins just to keep the business, keep the place busy. So if you get beauty, personal, and the beauty and personal care industries, as the video said, we can go back 1 year. We're going back 4 years here. So the 4 years is the current tax year, which is 25, and today is the first filing deadline. If they file today, then that's fine. But most businesses are going to file for an extension. A lot of them do. So they've got either till July or October to claim the credit for 2025. And then we go back 24, 23, and 22. If they filed on April the 15th in 2023 for the tax year 2022, they're going to miss 2022's refund, credit, because today is the last day and it has to be done within by the time within 3 years of the date they filed for that year. If they got the extension, we're still good. But that's something that I would definitely make sure your client understands. If they got the extension, you got till July, we better get on this. Or, if it gets to October, then, they're going to run into an issue with that as well. So the longer you drag it out, the more pressure there is to get it done. And, it's just going to be a better outcome if we don't wait to the last minute on this. Anybody that filed on the 15th of April, they just lost the 2022 calendar year. So they're getting 3 years at this price and at this amount instead of four. Our fee, I'm going to pull up I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to pull up a different screen for you here. We got Noel on the front page here. When I took that off, Noel, it's got you standing there or sitting there on the big picture. So 1 second. Sorry, I did the wrong thing here. All right. So all this is all nice, right? The amounts, let's just put in the amount that we had on this other page. What I say it was 414, yeah, 414,800, I think. Jeremy, take 103, whatever that was, times.
415 and $56 or something like that. 400.
Oh, so I was 20 something dollars off in my head. That's all right. That's close enough for government work. So let's put the 400, I put 414,800 in there. Uh, wait a minute, I put 4 million. That's going to be even a lot more money. 415. Okay, 415,000. So the fee is this isn't populating. Am I doing something? Stan, I'm having an issue here. What am I doing wrong?
I think it's work. It looks to me like it's working on here, right?
Well, it's not working down. Well, maybe it is. Okay, let's
It's
look.
working.
So 415,000. Our fee is 25% of that. So our fee is 104,000 basically. I mean, it's a little below that. You can kind of ignore the 80 and the 3% here. And then there's $8,000. Is it not going to let me do that? Okay, it's not going to let me do that.
There you go.
Here I go. What?
It looks like it's trying to calculate itself.
Well, let me. The
I think you're having a problem on your Excel right now, my friend.
There must be. I don't know what the deal is. Okay, so we'll skip that.
The 103 750 is exactly correct.
Right. And so let me
Those numbers are right because we're paying out 65% to the
Yeah.
field, right, Jeremy?
Right. So yeah, so the company the fee is going to be 25%. Out of that 25%, the company keeps 35. Apologize for being so disjointed. The company's going to keep 35. The field gets 65% of that 75%, or excuse me, of the fee. We get 65% of that, which is very, very generous. Most companies, when we did ERC, we got 4% of the total fee. So there was, it wasn't even close to being, this kind of money. I'm still not 100% sure this number is right, but Stan, you saying it is? I
Have
got to
our
use my calculator.
mathematics. If we have our mathematical checker,
I'm going to
Mr.
do it real
Jeremy,
quick here.
yep, it's really easy to figure that out. So 103, 750. Okay, and then you see we minus the 8,000. Yep, that number is correct. The 62, though, that number is correct.
Okay,
That's
got
what's
it.
going out to the field, and then you can
Perfect.
see first
All right.
level. Yeah,
Yeah. So the
good.
total compensation out to the field is 62,238. The person that brings the deal in gets $46,478 on this. So um, I signed Noelle up. Noelle does this. She gets 46,000. I get $6,200. Jeremy signed me up. He gets $6,200, and then the person that signed him up gets 3,000. The overrides are very nice as well. I mean, those are nice overrides. You build you a team and you got people out there get 5, 10, or 20 or 100. I mean, it's just however many you want to bring in, but you get 10 people out there doing this and doing one deal a month. That's $60,000 a month just in overrides for you. And it's very, very doable. When we talk about going out and getting these restaurants, so far, like George isn't on here today because he's got appointments with 4 different restaurants this afternoon. So, when you go in and sit down with these guys, he's going to meet with 4 of them. I'll be surprised if 2 or 3 of them or all 4 don't go ahead and say, yes, let's do it. We've had a couple that have said, yeah, we heard about this or our accountant does this, but they were bigger operations that would be more likely to have a specialist type of accountant that's looking at those type of things for credits. Most restaurants don't have that. Even if they've got a few locations, they don't have all that. They have their CPA that makes sure their taxes are done right, and that's it. So you're not going to run into that with the average restaurant. But so you go in and do this, you get, let's say you call on 10 restaurants a week. It would be very hard not to sign up one out of 10. And if you do one a week, you can see this one's 62,000. Now, if they're only getting back 100,000 for all 4 years, it's going to change. Your payout is going to be quite a bit different because, for one thing, the overhead stays the same. As far as the $8,000, $2,000 per year for the fees, and that's the part right here that isn't showing in my deal. But so it takes a bigger chunk of whatever money comes back. But this is not the biggest type of deal you're going to see. You're going to see some where people have 40, 50, if they have 2 or 3 locations, they may have 40 or 50 wait staff that's making this 1250 or maybe even higher. We've had people as high as 2,000 a week in tips. Is what they say their average is. So that turns out to a lot of money for you. It could be over $100,000 in some cases for the client that signs it up. So I'm gonna stop sharing and let's see. I guess we'll take some questions. Dave?
Hello, I may have looked away at the wrong time, but here in California, where um, the minimum wage is larger, does that mean that the estimate will be that we see on the page or screen there will be lower than what they will see in reality?
So things could be a little different. In California, if the minimum wage is $17, I don't know what the minimum for wait staff is because they probably have some kind of a price, some kind of a set level hourly for somebody that also earns tips.
Mm-hmm.
So if let's say their minimum is $10 an hour is what they have to pay their wait staff, and they're only paying them $7. Well, they've got to make up those $3, kind of like the $2.13 to $5.15. So it's going to affect it about the same. If they're paying them $7 and the minimum that wait staff can be paid is $15, then there's a lot more to make up. So it could affect it. I mean, it's going to depend on each individual location, what they're paying their people, and what the state minimum wage is for that particular job. So usually farm work and um, service industry where people get tips are not subject to the straight minimum wage that everybody else gets. So that's going to be the question.
Okay, because
If
when
they're paying
when
them, if they're paying the minimum, nothing has to come off of that. So you're still good as long as it's over 5.15 an hour.
uh-huh.
That's not going to change. Nothing's going to change as long as for their state they're paying whatever the minimum is. They're going to be good. You're not going to have any issues with that.
So, so whether they pay them 5.15 an hour or 15 an hour, the return, the credit will be the same.
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
as long as they're paying the minimum in that state. If they aren't paying the minimum, then that has to be made up with some of that FICA, refund money has to be made up to get them up to the hourly minimum. I hope that makes sense.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, because that minimum always confused me because I thought that was the maximum that the system would allow.
No,
But okay,
no.
that clears up a lot. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Um, lower his hand. Susan.
Hi, Kurt. I have a question. If we could go back to that thing which shows the commission,
Uh-huh.
if I must be multiplying the wrong figure. Because if you multiply 65% of, I'm trying to remember the exact figure that you had up there. It's 67 something. So I must be multiplying it by the wrong figure.
Did you deduct the $8,000 for the
No. So the
yeah,
8,000
that's the
comes off
difference.
the
Yeah, there's
8,000 comes off the,
yeah. So we
uh,
in that example, the fee is 103,000.
okay,
And I'm rounding off a little bit. So 103,000. The 8,000 there it's $2,000 per year for the
oh,
tax
there
work,
were,
which
okay, the
includes all the you know uh,
amended returns.
amended returns and all that, everything's done. And with that also, this is part of the reason, when you hear, and there are a few other companies out there now, though there will be more because there's a lot of money here and people have started to hear about it. After 33 years, people are realizing, hey, this is a deal, we ought to be out here, bringing out to restaurants when, everybody can make some money. So when they come out, they're telling their clients that it could be. I saw one the other day, an email that they sent to somebody. It said it could be 8 to 12 months to get their money back. But because of their special expertise, it's going to be 4 to 6 months. Well, ours takes a month and a half to 3 months. It doesn't
Yeah,
take 4 to 6 months. And the reason is Stefan doesn't just send this in and tell the IRS, hey, good luck, pull all the stuff you need and do all that. He provides everything for the agent. So when the IRS agent gets it, all the documents that he needs and all the past returns and all that, Stefan includes all that with it when he files it. So there's no pooling documents, there's no, having to research files, any of that. They've got it all right in front of them. And that's how we're getting the money a lot quicker for our clients than the average place is.
good to know.
And the average place isn't going to know, hey, this is what we should be doing. And it's gonna drag on, for a long time when you have to, when the IRS agent has provided everything. Who do you think he's going to work on first? The guy that's giving him all the stuff and information, or if he opens a file and he's got to go pull everything? Human nature is, you know, what makes my job easier, and that's going to be I think it's going to have an effect
Sure.
on some of these people. So, yeah, that definitely comes into play. But the 2,000, there's a lot that comes with that, as far as with
Okay.
those fees and everything. Anything else?
No, that's a good answer. Thank you.
Good to see you.
You,
Oh, I cut her off right when she said something. Let's see. iPhone 914 something. You can tell us your name if you don't mind.
Hi, how you doing? My name is Joe Federici. I'm with Uncle Dan. Just came on board.
All right.
Hi. Um, so I'm on my landing page because I'm looking at it, and I don't know where to go for the calculator or the questionnaire for the client. I don't see a banner link. Check stats, I see that, but I don't see a calculator or a questionnaire.
Okay. So
Am
you're in
I?
your back office for Black Swan?
Yeah, I'm in Black Swan, General
Okay.
Statistics, Commissions.
So
I don't have that banner that you had on top. I don't have that banner for some reason.
yeah, that's fine. So here's where you go to find it. There is a arrow down in the left-hand corner of your
Yeah,
screen. Click
yeah.
on that, and it'll have a drop down and go to marketing.
Okay, so I was there before. Okay. I'm going to marketing materials.
Yep. And then go down
Okay.
to email links.
Email links. Got it.
And then go to the drop down. I guess I should pull this up probably. Let me share my screen because I'm
Email
Yeah.
email links, and then
I've just
um,
put the 7-minute video in the chat, but
I
it's
have that. Yeah, I have
yeah,
that.
that's fine. Okay,
Mhm.
so
I'm at email links.
Yeah, I pulled up the wrong deal. Okay. So you're going to go here. The reason I wanted to pull this up is on this. I've got to move that out of my way. You see where when you first land on this page, it's going to say, here's what it's going to say is
User
cost
marketing group.
segregation. It says cost segregation. You're going
Correct.
to go over here and click
if
on
FICA.
FICA tips.
Okay.
And then that is
Displayed.
going, yeah, that's going to give you the, um, sorry, I got this damn deal is in my way. Sorry for my,
We can't see anything in the way.
no, I know I'm trying, but
Okay.
I can't click on the stuff I'm wanting to.
Sorry.
All
Well,
right,
do I
I
hit the
got it moved. I got it
display?
out of the way.
Do I hit
So
display email links?
yeah, so you're going to hit display email links.
Okay. Okay.
It's making me sign in all over again. Anyway, now I can't do it. It's but you've got the display email link, right?
I have that. Yeah.
Okay. So then you go down to the shorter of the two. There's two links down there. One is for embedding like in a web page that you're gonna have set where people can click on it and engage with you. And this one is the one that you're going to send your clients. This is the link so load that link into your browser.
Which one? The HTML version?
Yes, the shorter of the two, the one that's surrounded has the blue
Short
around
of, yeah,
You
that's
don't
it. Okay.
want it.
So
You do not. Yeah, you do not want to do the HTML one. You want to do the ASCII or whatever it is, right, Jeremy? It says ASCII.
The
Yep.
HTTPS one, not the HTML.
Right. There you go. I couldn't remember what they called it. Okay.
I just want to copy, I want to copy that and I'm going to paste that into my email message to a client, right?
Yes.
And then that text version that I just copied and pasted, that link, once my client hits that, back office will automatically know that that client belongs to me.
Yes.
Okay.
It doesn't, like, if you look up here at the top of the page, there's no number or ID number in that, but it is embedded with your information. So when you send this out, it's real easy. If you'll copy and paste this and go to this link yourself in your
Yeah,
back office,
that's
it's going to show that somebody just got done opening your link, which it's you,
right.
but it will show every time. So when Stefan gets it, it's attributed to you. So there's no issue with that at all.
Okay, so yeah, perfect. So then I'm there. So she's going to be in another state. I'm going to have to do this with me and walk her through this
Yeah, over the phone.
over the phone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
and
okay, I got it now.
as
So I
Noel
just didn't
said, a
know.
great idea is to start her here, bring her down to the calculator here, and just say,
Yeah.
let's just hypothetically figure out kind of the neighborhood of where you're at. How many servers do you have?
So then after the calculator is done and she gets excited about the number she's getting back, then we go back and we ask her these other five questions, and then
Yeah, and then and then let's see where it
get
says
started.
next. You're going to go down here where it says next after they answer all these questions, and then there's going to be more information, more questions. And then you'll get to a point where it'll say submit. You're going to submit it, and then it will pop up and say schedule a consultation. And that's where you want to make sure when you're doing that they include your email address along with theirs. And if they have a key person that can also help with gathering this documentation, have them add that person's email as well.
No, it's her. She runs it's and the other thing, yeah, I get it. So I'm getting there.
Okay.
The other thing is 3 EINs will require 3 different phone consults with Stefan, or he could handle
It could all
that?
be done on one, but it has to be 3 different filings.
Yeah, okay. She'll ask she'll
Yeah.
ask him what I do with the other 2, because one is relatively new, and the other 2 are 20, 25 years old. So she's got a fair amount of money. And I want to do this right the first time, because I have she's accessible to a huge restaurant association that might be beneficial to everybody.
Possibly.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
And no, but so once I'm not talking about amounts of money, because that's the last thing on my mind is how much I get paid. First thing on my mind is getting it done right the first time. So I have a cookie cutter that could explain it.
Right.
So once I send in my contract, which I am, the payment process could be done through my corporation.
Yes, your corporation can be paid, yes.
Okay.
You just
Okay.
have to
Now,
enter your EIN number and all that for
right.
it.
And one
And
last
banking.
question. Thank you. One last question is social media is really growing on this guy. If you look at Facebook and Messenger and Instagram, there's more commercials now going up about this and different. Who knows if it's the same person just setting up a different. Do you have a recommendation of a marketing company that possibly could handle a campaign or something like this? Is there anybody that's on the chat that is working with a marketing company?
Well,
It's been worked on. It's been worked on.
yeah, and
Uncle Dan is here. He's the master of that one, right? Uncle Dan, say hi to Joe. You've been working on that, right?
Uncle Dan, I gotta add him as a
He may be busy.
well,
He's not busy. He's in Vegas rolling the dice. He ain't
I'm
busy.
adding him as a co-host so he can unmute.
He's not busy. He's rolling the dice.
Hey, what's up, Joe?
Howdy.
No, I'm testing one right now. And
Okay.
so I will have some
Okay.
results in about a week.
Okay, good.
And it's really cool. I was kind of saving it, but I'll just tell you guys a little bit about it. I have another program that I'm doing in the crypto world, and it is getting me leads like almost daily. And so I said, well, if it can do it with that, can you do it with what we're doing? So I reached out to the owner, and he said we had some great success with ERC, and I was like, oh, great. So I said I would like to see, we had a conversation, and I said, well, I want to test it out, and so he just finished his creatives yesterday, and so
Okay.
we'll be testing, and he can also set that one up as a round robin where it's like $2,000 for 20 people where people want to, if they want to participate, it's $100 a month, or they can just try it for 1 month, and if they're not happy they don't have to continue, but it's pretty reasonable for the type of success that he's generally had over the years. So
Do you know, Dan? Dan, do you know if that marketing campaign will handle back office, the landing page for the client, or it's just a marketing campaign directly? Maybe I'm looking for a market admin as well.
yeah, it's right now it's just directly, but I'm trying to tie it to another system that will continually market to restaurant owners for the next 30 days through email
For a drip
marketing.
campaign?
Yeah, it's a drip
Yeah.
campaign, correct.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
so I'm working on it.
Yeah, I'd also mention that there are marketing materials in your back office, and I've got somebody that did some of this just using AI. I mean, they asked, I don't know which I can find out, but they asked, there's so many different AI programs out there now, and they asked one of them, what would be my best course of action to market this, on social media, and it laid out a whole plan for them. So you can do that, or you can hire somebody like you're talking about. Either way. Um, Bobby B.
Hello. I've just got a question. the fee on this is $2,000 per year. Who brings that up to the client?
That's on the console. The Stefan covers all that. Well, and
Okay.
they don't even have to bring it up to the client because it comes out of our 25% fee.
Okay. Okay.
So it's
So the fee,
deducted from that fee. So there's just the fee never changes. The fee, whatever the client
I
gets,
got you.
25% of it goes to us. And
So,
then
so if
that comes out
the
of it.
client's going to get $100,000, we're going to take 25, and out of that comes the 8,000 or $2,000
Yeah.
per year. Okay.
Yeah.
And it is. I found it on the calculator. Was a question I had about. You said number of employees. It's number of tipped employees only, correct?
Well, yeah, that's when I said number of servers is I think what I
Yeah.
said. But
Okay.
yeah,
I
it's the
might have
number of
I might
people
have
that
heard you
get
wrong.
tips. Yeah. Yeah, it's a
Now,
number.
hypothetically, let's say the client has 2 or 3 years that he hasn't gotten this, and his number is going to be $100,000. Can he use that as a tax credit going forward for, let's say, fiscal year 2026?
He
Or
yeah,
go
if
ahead.
so that's going to be determined by if they uh owe or if they didn't show any income. If they didn't show any income for like 2025, they're not going to get a check back. They're going to get a credit to carry forward.
Okay,
Um, but if they do that, they also are going to have to still pay our fee, which means they would have to pay out of pocket
I
uh,
got you.
if there's no
Okay.
check, generated.
Yeah,
So
that's what I was thinking about is, if they didn't have, the capability to get a refund or
right,
that, what would
yeah,
happen if they proceeded?
yeah.
Um,
Stefan talked about one client that in particular he had that they were getting them back. I can't remember. I think it was around $30,000, and the
mhm.
client had a past, you know, past due. It was
Bill.
like 35
Yeah,
grand, 35 grand or something.
yeah,
So, Stefan told him, we can do this and apply it towards that, and you're going to only owe him 5 grand. And so the client decided, yeah, I'll pay for you to do the work and pay that fee up front, and then
yeah,
I'll
because
only
he
owe him
found the
5 grand
money.
more. So yeah, that was fine. But very few are going to be in that situation, but a few might. So that's
Yeah,
something
you
to
never know.
consider. Yeah,
You never know. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Oh,
Thank you. I appreciate it.
okay. Thank you, Bobby. All right. Let's see. I want to call on somebody besides Noel. Okay, Noel, go ahead.
Thanks, Kurt. That's hilarious. No, I just wanted to reiterate a couple of things because there's great stuff on here, but I know there's some new people, and then there's some people who um, won't take advantage of a marketing program if there's money because they can't until they make money. So I want to make sure we're kind of appeasing the masses. You have several people on here that did ERC work and were very successful without having to go into a lot of the different types of marketing campaigns. Good old fashioned
Right,
picking up the phone and walking into the businesses.
right.
Kurt mentioned the marketing materials in the back office. They're phenomenal. I grabbed one that was less busy, if you will, and I put it into Chat GPT and I asked them to change the phone number and the email, and it switched it to mine. I don't have a Q code on there yet, and that's something that we can also do in the back office if you want to have
Yeah,
that
create a
implemented.
QR code.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can create your own QR code in the back office, which is linked to you because it's your back office. You can get that embedded into the flyers. But I did that flyer and belly to belly, face to face phone calls really produce a lot if you don't want to get into a massive marketing campaign. And then take some of your stuff to social media if you're active on different social media sites. But I did have a
Yeah.
few people ask me about the marketing and they don't have the funds right now to do that. And how will they be able to succeed? I promise you can succeed if you're engaging every day and you're walking in and you're meeting
Yeah.
them without being involved in a big marketing campaign.
So just to give you guys an idea, George and I have not
Okay.
done any kind of marketing campaign, and we never did for ERC either. We signed up a lot of places, but um, as I said today, George is not on this call because he's got 4 different restaurants he's lined up with. He's traveling this week, calling he calls on some clients still with furniture. George and I were both in the furniture industry for a lot of years. So he still has some furniture clients that he calls on. So when he's in a different town, he looks for restaurants that he can talk to while he's in town. So he is, going in and meeting with these guys. He actually went in last night, met, got his hotel room, and across the street was a real nice steakhouse. Well, he walks in, has dinner, and asked for the owner. General manager was there. The owner wasn't. They said the owner will be in the morning. Told general manager about it, and the general manager said, "Oh, that sounds awesome. I'll make sure they know about it, and then you can come. Plan on coming to see the guy in the morning." So George goes sees that guy, and then they tell him, "Hey, there's these 7 other restaurants. It's either family of ours or friends of ours that own these other restaurants." So they give him the whole list. So George is out calling on all these restaurants today, and he's we're not spending so much a day or a week or whatever on marketing. And I'm not trying to dissuade anybody from spending money in marketing. It can be very, very good. And I mean, you get one deal, it's going to cover more than the marketing bill, so it's well worth it. But just going in and talking to these people and talking to these places, and what's happened today when he called these other places to make an appointment, it helped a ton that the people at this original restaurant said you should call this person. And that's all George did was tell him, "Hey, I was talking to them last night. They told me that I should contact you as well." And that opens the door. Our friend has talked to this guy, and he thinks we need to hear about this. So that's kind of where you go with this is, it doesn't take that much, and all you're doing is trying to convince them to fill out this form, which takes a few minutes, and agree to get on a call. They don't have to put any money up. There's no other expectations out of them. If they get on the consultation and tell Stefan, "Hey, after looking at this is not for me," they're out nothing except a few minutes of their time. So that is, I do the marketing deal is great, but I encourage everybody contact places directly. And as I said before, if you'll contact 10 restaurants a week, you're going to sign some every single week. And I know last week we showed an example. I don't have it set up on the calculator right now, but if they only got 100,000 after the fees and everything, you're going to make about 13,000 if you're the client, or the one that brought the client in. So out of that 13,000, if you're doing one of those every week, which is a very conservative number, I think the majority of the ones you do are going to be bigger than that. But let's say it's 13,000. I mean, 13,000 a week is a pretty good year. A little over 500,000, 600,000. So go see people, call people. Uh, you can do it. You can market to anybody, anywhere, and contact people that that have friends that own restaurants or whatever it is. I mean, you just uh, you know use your contacts to do some what is it? Networking, I guess is the right word for it. You're gonna network with them to network you in with the people they know. And if you need to set the other person up as an agent, you can. If you want to set up some kind of a deal where you give them some money for a referral, that's great too. You can do it either way you want to do. It's your business, but it's definitely very doable for anybody. I don't care if you're introvert or not, you can do this. You just have to make up your mind to walk out there and face a few people. Jeremy.
Thank you, Kurt. I completely agree. I have just put in the chat a link to a playlist with the recordings from previous overview and Q&A Zooms, and it also has the 2-minute and the 7-minute videos that show you how to find your referral link and how to find your link to share with potential clients and how to do your QR codes as well. So I've just put that in the chat. That is a playlist that will be updated with the recordings. This will be up there in the near future, and I hope that helps people. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Any other questions? Stan? You never have to raise your hand.
Yeah, but I like doing it. I like
All
being
right.
polite. I like being, polite, and you do
right.
a wonderful job. So we know that there's some other companies that are coming into this. We know there's some other companies that are going to try to undercut the numbers that we do. We're 25%. They're 20%. Why are we worth the 25, Kurt? Why don't you tell the team? Why are we worth the extra 5?
Well, for the first reason we're worth it is because we know what we're doing. These other companies that are coming in, some of them have never filed this before ever. Before this year, they've never filed it. Stefan's been filing for this particular credit since 2003, and he's done it for thousands of businesses. So that's number one. And to me, it's just like the difference between your regular doctor. You go in and see him, and he says, "I got some bad news for you, Stan. You've got a brain tumor." And Stan, oh my gosh, what do I do? And this doctor says, "Well," he said, "I've watched some YouTube videos, and I think I can probably handle this. I'm getting the nurse to scrub up right now, and we're gonna, right here in your examination room, I think we can cut in and get to this tumor." Who's going to sign up for that? Nobody. But that's basically what they're doing with a company that has not done this before. They're going to be their guinea pig. And so you're talking about the difference between a regular doctor and a brain surgeon. And this is no different. You're talking about a company that's never done this and a company that's done this for almost 25 years is an expert. And you can Google Legacy Tax, you can Google Stefan Brewer. You're going to find nothing but great things about him. It's I used to tell people, man, I used to not tell people, I used to hope people would not go and Google, because if you Google somebody, Google enough people, you can usually find something bad on anybody. I did all the stuff and looked up everything on Stefan because I knew some of our people would. Not that I care. I trust Stefan. I believe in what he's doing. So I didn't need it to convince myself, but I knew, because we're going to have some people that'll look it up and they'll say, "Oh, guess what? I found something here." And they think, they're a super sleuth and that they're going to let you know that this whole deal is a bogus. First off, it's not. But secondly, there is so many places that people can post crap about somebody or something that is illegitimate. So that's why I looked. But Stan, the other part of your question, I apologize, I got sidetracked a little there, is, this is not the only thing we're going to do for this client. There are 1,300 tax credits available in the tax code, and I believe I know it's over 11 billion a year that goes unclaimed in credits, and most of these credits Stefan knows about. Most of them he's filed for at some point or another, and so we're gonna do this for this client, and then we're also going to look at what else could you qualify for. Could do you own your own building? Cost segregation, waste management, WOTC, R&D. There's all kinds of different credits that are available, and we can do them for them. So this isn't going to be the end of the road for your client as far as dealing with us. So that 25% gets them an expert that knows what they're doing. And, when you go, it's not much different than going to the $6 haircut place and the $30 haircut place. Who do you think does better haircuts? Usually not the $6 place, you know. Uh, and if they are doing better haircuts, they should go somewhere and open up their own place and charge $30. They're wasting their talent if they're there at the $6 place. So
This is the perfect time where I want you to tell the story again, because I remember people that tell stories. You remember the guy that did the ERC? Oh, I think my accountant can go when we
yeah,
do it.
yeah,
Well,
this
do you
was
mind telling us that one? Because
yeah, this
that's
was
the
one of
example.
my actual clients, and this happened over and over again with ERC. But I call, I was a VP of this company for 11 years that I was talking to, and I called, told them about it. Oh yeah, and the guy, says, okay, we'll look into it. I sent him some information. I call him back in a couple of weeks, and he says, oh yes, we found somebody that's going to do it for much less. Well, we were charging 20% at the time, and for much less. Okay, so great. Let me know how it goes. If you get to a point, where they say, here's how much we can get you. If you want a second opinion on what can be gotten, let me know, and we'll do the work and let you know if we can get more money for you or not. Well, the guy didn't let us know. So about 3 months later, I called him. I said, did you ever get that done? Oh, yes, we didn't qualify for very much. Our CPA took care of it already. Well, how much are you getting back? Well, we only qualified for 2020 and we're getting $18,000 back. And I said, and what'd the guy charge you? 11,000. I said, that's a little more than, 10, 15, 20%. That's a big chunk of it. What was worse is they were told they didn't qualify at all for 2021 for any of those quarters after 2020. We got them $750,000 back for the quarters that their CPA said they didn't qualify for. And they probably would have gotten 150 to 200,000 more for the ones that he did file for because he had no idea what the heck he was doing. So he didn't save them money, he cost them money. And this guy couldn't believe it when I told him, here's how much we can get you. And he didn't really believe it until the check showed up, and then he was, ecstatic. But if you run into somebody that says, well, I can get this for a little less or whatever, you can, yes, you can. Just like you can go, get a steak at Waffle House, or you can go get a steak at Three Forks or somewhere, high end, nice. There's going to be a difference in the two steaks most of the time. Um, and if it's not, then the high dollar place isn't going to be staying in business. But so it's no different than any other thing people deal with. If you want to go get a cheap hamburger, go to Crystal's. If you want to, get a little better hamburger, go to Five Guys. I mean, they're both selling hamburgers, but they're nowhere in the realm of being the same. And that's why there's not the same price. And that's exactly why we're not the same price as somebody else. We earn the amount of money that we do. Most of these companies are not going to include the amending the returns for the client. They're not going to do the stuff that's needed to get the refund quicker for the client. We do all that stuff. And as I said, we also bring more business down the road for them.
How about
More
audit protection? Do we have audit protection?
Yeah, if the client is audited because of, about the work that we've done, we represent them. We will stand up and defend the work that we did and show, how it was done and why it was done, and we'll defend them. Something I didn't mention earlier, but Stefan is not only a CPA, he's a tax attorney. So it's a great combination to have for somebody that's doing something like this. He is what do you call him? The tax man? He's a wonder kid. You know, he's
He's
the guy
not
that
just, he's not a tax man. He is the
the
tax man.
tax man. I said the tax man. It might not have sounded very much like it, but I did say the.
Hey, Kurt, if they don't know, Tax Resolution is the type of company that is continuously having conversations with the IRS.
Right.
The CPA is not. So
Right.
it makes a huge difference when you have someone like that representing you. And the
Yeah,
other
that's
thing that you,
known. They're known to the IRS, right?
right. And the
Yeah.
other thing that you can mention to them, because he's done this credit so many times, is that he basically does a pre-audit for the IRS agent that's going to be handling your case. So
By
that's
pulling all
done.
the documents and all that stuff. Is that what you're
Yeah,
talking about?
he's
Yeah.
pre-auditing everything that
Yeah.
he knows that they're going to need. And so versus somebody that's never done this before, they don't have a clue, the CPA.
And that's why it's going to take 8 to 12 months or 4 to 6 months or whatever it is, because they haven't done any of that stuff that Stefan's doing.
Correct.
The other thing I want to point out, if you have companies that, people that you know at other companies, be real proud of telling them, here's how much we make. Because actually, Uncle Dan, you can tell them you actually were part of another company for a little bit and found out what these guys were paying, and the conversion was on, right?
Pretty much everybody out there is making at least half or less than what we're making.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and that's pretty much across the board. And
Yeah.
they may have the greatest and the latest, more technology and things. Remember, he just started this affiliate program, and we have a whole new back office that's coming, by the way.
Yeah.
So, but again, when it comes to the nuts and bolts, nobody can compare. And
No.
how many of those, if you're a rep for one of those companies, can really get to the person that's doing the actual work? It's
Right.
rare, super rare.
Well,
So
they'll never know who it is that's doing it, probably, in most
exactly,
cases. Yeah, they
yeah.
don't have the first clue who it is. Stefan, as you guys know, today is tax day, April 15th for a lot of people. And I'm sure Stefan is pulling his hair out today because he's got last minute stuff going on with with a lot of clients. So that's why he's not here today. Normally he's on here, but he's on our Friday calls with Q&A. He's very available, and he actually, with your consultation calls, they're with Stefan. They're not with somebody that's going to take the information and then he's going to look at it. He's talking to your client directly, and that is huge. Most companies, they're never going to, the client's never going to talk to the actual person that's doing the work. They're going to talk to somebody else that's going to fill them in. They're not going to answer the questions that your client might have. Stefan will. It's a great setup. We've got an awesome opportunity, and I'm feel like very fortunate that we've crossed paths, because this is a company you don't have to be ashamed of telling anybody you're part of it, and you sure don't have to with anybody else that says, well, we're doing this and we only charge this much. Man, I can tell them, I know why you're charging that much, because you can't charge what we charge. You'll never get away with it. So, anybody else? Stan, did I cover that well enough?
That
Sometimes
was
I am.
excellent. Yep, that was excellent. We do have another question.
Yeah, I see
Nice
it just
young
popped
lady. I
up.
think Kathy had a question.
Yeah, I unmuted her.
Yeah, are you the only affiliate group that Stefan has at this point?
You want me to answer that, Stan, or so Black Swan is the affiliate group.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and Stan is the one that has done the affiliate, brought the affiliate program together, and Stan and Stefan, do this together. But we are the marketing arm of Legacy Tax.
Okay.
So there's not
And
another.
okay,
I'm sorry.
that's what I wondered, if there were six more of you
No,
out
no,
there.
no. It's just us.
And when did you start doing this program?
I started a little over a month ago, I think.
Oh, okay. It
But
is
some of
real
these
new.
people have been in it quite a bit longer, and
Okay. All right.
I've been doing some of these Zoom type of deals for a long time. I guess that's probably part of why I'm doing them now. But I'm not I'm not been here for forever. Can't tell you all the
Yeah.
ins and outs of everything, but we
Okay.
have deals that are submitted that we're going to be getting paid on, at some point soon. So
Good.
I'll be glad to tell everybody when that is. Uh,
Super.
so
Thank you.
yeah, thank you, Kathy. All right, we got two more, and this is going to be it because we're about an hour and 20 minutes right now. Al.
Real quick, I think this was covered a week ago or so, but I just want to ensure that you guys have a couple flyers that are pretty nice in the resource section that we can hand out to a prospective owner of a restaurant, let's say. With that said, there's a QR code there that we can put in on our own QR code, right? Which directs them to our
Yep.
landing, correct? Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And you can also take, I didn't, Noel taught me something today. I didn't know you could just go to AI, some AI, Chat GPT or whoever it was, and have them change it for you. That's better than, the way I knew was you go to somebody like Canva and you can do it for free. They'll try to get you to pay, but you can use their free version and you can change the information there. So you put your information down at the bottom and so the client knows to contact you. But yeah, that's all.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Tom.
Hey, Kurt.
Tom, are you in Arizona, Tom?
Yes, sir. Phoenix.
That's what I thought.
So, this is first time looking at this. All looks really great. Just two questions I had were kind of related. What would be considered too small or too big?
So we
And you
talked
kind
about
of
this.
touched on that a little bit.
Yeah, there is no too big. The only thing you'll run into is, George and I had one that they have like 13 restaurants and they've been in business for a long time. They're a big operation. They've got, a huge corporate office with a lot of people in it and all that stuff. They knew about this. So, when you talk about too big, I mean that's kind of where that comes into play is they may be big enough that they've heard about this because they would be more likely to have some kind of specialized tax advisor or something than the average, smaller business would. Um, but as far as, I'm also positive there are big operations like that have no clue, with this. So it's just you're going to have to just contact them and find out, basically.
Okay.
But on the small side, I think we talked about it Friday. If they're going to get less than 13,000 a year average, it's probably not enough for you to pursue. And for you, there's not going to be much money there, and for legacy tax, there's not going to be much money there.
Okay.
Out of 13,000, if it's for 4 years, we're going to get a $13,000 fee if they average 13 for 4 years. Out of that comes $8,000 right off the bat. That leaves you 5,000. Legacy tax is going to take 35% of that. We're taking 65. There's 300 or 400 bucks. I mean, you're not going to end up with much of anything. So I would put
Okay.
my efforts into places that they don't necessarily have to have a certain number of wait staff, as long as the amount of tips they make. If they've got 4 or 5 waiters, waitresses, and they're making 1,800 to 2,000 a week in tips, they're going to be a good one. If they've
Okay.
got 15 wait staff and they're averaging $250 a week, they're not going to be a good one.
Hmm.
So the number with taking into consideration what the average weekly tips are, that's how, that's the determination. And if they're not making, um, very much in tips, take for instance a Sonic. If Sonic restaurant, they have car hops and they get tips.
Right.
They don't get, some people give them no tip, some people give them $1, whatever it is. But they may have 10 car hops, but they're only getting 100, 150, $200 a week in tips. It's not going to add up to enough to be worth pursuing. Now, if they own 30 of those, we could probably do something, but if they just have one franchise, then it's probably not going to be worthwhile for the client or for us, either one. I mean, there's just not going to be much there. So,
Okay.
yeah,
Sounds good. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Tom. All right. Appreciate everybody's time today. I will get this to Jeremy, the copy of this, so he can post it on that link that he shared with you guys in the chat. And I was looking real quick. I was trying to see if I've left anything.
When's our next meeting?
Our next meeting's Friday, and it is a Q&A with Stefan, and it's at the same time, 2 Central, 1 Mountain, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern. So
Can we invite new recruits to that
you
meeting?
you can invite new recruits if you'd like to. We usually do just a real short overview, and then get into more questions with the field that's out there actually working on and doing stuff. But if you got new people, I would bring them anytime you can bring them. You don't have to wait for next Wednesday to bring them. Bring them next Friday, and then get them on Wednesday too if you want to. But we do this every Wednesday, every Friday. There are 2 different links. The link that you use today is for every Wednesday. The link for Friday is for every Friday. There are 2 different links, but they are going to be the same link every week for that particular day. Gina, I'm going to let you be the last one, even though I said we already were doing the last one. Go ahead and unmute.
I was just going to make sure that you mentioned that they were different links or that they are different links. So thank you for mentioning that.
Sure, no problem. Thank you.
And I do have a new person here, Andrea Gonzalez, and I sent you a
Awesome.
message in this message here. So I'm hoping that you can reach out to me.
You sent me a message?
No, her name is Andrea Gonzalez.
Okay. You sent her a message. Okay. Awesome. If not, you know how to get in touch with her, right?
No, I don't. She's down
I
down
do
the way.
I do because she called me, and then I called Jeremy. Right? Jeremy's my assistant with all this stuff, and yeah, we'll hook you up with it. Don't worry about it. We're all here to help each other.
Thank you, Gina.
Awesome.
All right.
Have a great day,
You
everyone.
too. And with that, we're going to be done. We'll see you guys Friday, and appreciate everybody's time. Have a great week.
Thank you.